Hello everybody and welcome to my channel once again. We have our beautiful guest Celine and she kindly agreed to do like a general video Q&A about living in Vienna. She has a lot of experience with applying to internships, to part-time jobs, to living in the VG. So she has everything you need. That's when you like get used to Vienna. After you get used and settle down, you're gonna be like Celine basically answering all these questions for you right now.
Thank you.
She
Thank you.
went through it all, so to share it with you to make it easier for you. And of course, the question everybody asks is international students when they come here, what are their job opportunities or part-time job opportunities, internships?
Well, for international students, the opportunities are not scarce, but it is safe to say that companies like as little paperwork as possible. That's why sometimes when they're stuck between candidates from non-EU countries and someone from the EU, and if their qualifications are somewhat similar, then they do choose the European candidate. And even the law supports that, in that if you're a non-EU national, then you can work up to 20 hours a week with no paperwork, with a lot of ease. But if you have to work above 20 hours, then the Austrian labor market has to do like an inspection of the labor market and ask the company, why were you not able to hire someone within our union, etc. So if you want to work above 20 hours, it's a bit more difficult. But if the employer is knowledgeable in this area and they value you, they can of course help you get over that barrier. But yeah, up to 20 hours, very safe. Above that, it's a bit more difficult.
And up to 20 hours, don't you need like an AMS document, permission from an authority to work?
That part the company handles, because that's the beauty of the 20-hour limit. Above that, like the organization comes into play, but below that, it's easy.
Okay, perfect. So because most people are gonna get part-time jobs, I think.
Yeah.
When you're studying at any program, you're gonna not be able to be full-time employed. It's just impossible.
Yeah.
So
unless you're smart enough to have your own business, helping a lot of people. Like, just a point, even we learned so much from Masha, from her videos. Like, just yesterday we met up with a friend of ours and we were both like, how do you find this much information? Like, we see it and we're surprised. So, quality content.
So yeah, for free, for free.
Yeah.
And so you can either work for yourself, you can tutor. A lot of people actually do like Go Student. There's an organization where you can tutor and you pay commission to the platform that provides it. Also, to which internships or part-time jobs or jobs did you apply during your studies? Or now?
To a lot of things, but basically I was looking for something that fit my skill set, and I was looking for if the job application post was in English, because even though I do speak German well, my English is still better, so preferably I would choose a job that's in English. I applied to some consulting jobs.
She has a C1 in German, just saying.
I did graduate in Austrian Business High School, so my German is very, very good, I would say. But yeah, I applied to some consulting jobs, some marketing and communications jobs, some student jobs. I worked 2 student jobs when I was here. And before that, I was also working with a logistics firm remotely, which was also very, very nice. But this firm was based in Turkey. That's why I wanted to also have some student jobs with organizations in Vienna, especially student organizations such as the Haltpreis VU, and then the E&I Club at our Entrepreneurship and Innovation Institute. But yeah, as I was applying to jobs, it was sad to face rejection, of course, but with each application came more knowledge. And then I went farther in the application process. And what I figured out was it really helps to look on LinkedIn or if on the job posting and see who is hiring. And maybe this person is from your university. And then you can send a text to them. And through this way, I think I got 4 or 5 interviews because they knew my university, they were from my university, or they had worked with a company I did a project with. So
at INI probably.
Yeah.
INI is Entrepreneurship and Innovation Institute at our university, just saying. And they also have some part-time jobs for students like social media manager, event organizer. There's also the Entrepreneurship Avenue organization, which is a uni one.
And which I joined actually in one of my first years. One sec. As Masha said, there are a lot of opportunities in our university for a lot of projects and jobs. But one thing that a lot of people don't do is to look beyond what is told to them in class, because there's the marketing club, there's the finance club, there's also the founders center, and there are also a lot of little clubs and associations that tell you of many different competitions happening. And one of the most fun things I did was to join the Halt Prize competition, an entrepreneurship avenue competition, with a few of my friends during my first year, because all that energy of like, you're in a new country, you're just trying to find your space, and it felt very good to join this. And through these competitions, maybe your startup won't become like a billion-dollar startup in a year, but you're gonna get to know a lot of industry professionals, and you're gonna know names, and you're gonna know who is responsible for what type of investment. So because of this, it was very precious to look at the VU website and follow their socials, because they post a lot of things on social media. I would say that's
also job
one
applications.
Of the most important things. Yeah.
And also check your emails. So you think your student email is just like some useless thing you never check, but if you check your emails, the professors from our institutes, like where we did our specializations, the ENI Institute, or I also had the strategy and managerial accounting specialization at the Finance Institute, and they send us job applications in WhatsApp groups or via student email about, okay, this job is hiring, and we told kind of, and we also maybe worked with this company before. And it's like university is not so much about education, because you can get that knowledge like very nicely online for free, but it's about networking. It's about building your connections, your network, because you will get like the company knows this person and this person knows you, and always networking will get and help you get a bit further in life.
Exactly.
So yeah.
And also, like, don't underestimate your friends. I'm gonna underline this so much, because all the businesses, exactly.
We're so smart friends, stick together.
And because like all your friends, like they bring different sets of knowledge and different backgrounds and experiences, and even their families could help you at some point, because like your families do so many different jobs, and maybe at some point you want to branch out or you want to connect. But coming back to the friends topic, like VU is known for being the hub where a lot of startups are founded, and that's because people use these friendships, and don't be afraid to start something with your friends, because if you're in a group, like more ideas are gonna come than if you were alone. Like for me, as I've said in some of these competitions, like the group discussion part is very stressful, because you have to argue. But after all that arguing, it's so amazing to see what came out, because if you didn't argue and like share your points, then you would be stuck at like point zero, and you don't want that. But like talk to your friends, ask them what they're interested in, use their knowledge, because so many times, like many of the great events I joined in Vienna were through my friends, and they joined events through me, because I heard it, I saw it, I told them, and just communicate.
And what do you think about the pay rate? So let's say you work 20 hours a week at an internship or as a part-time like assistant, what would usually be your hourly pay? Or like a monthly income?
Monthly income, like it varies, but I would say like for 20 hours for beginner to mid-level jobs, it would be around maybe 1,000 euros, give or take 200 or 300, because some companies, they really are relaxed with what they offer. So they give you minimum wage, but they say, benefits like coffee, networking, tech infrastructure and stuff. And
you also have discounts. For example, the Raiffeisen is a very popular place to work at for English speaking students as well. They have like an international office, and like Raiffeisen Erste Bank, it's super popular. And they also have these benefits like discounts with their partners, corporate partners. For example, to buy like a phone or technology, you can have like a special employee code. You get discounts, because my friend told me he's working at Raiffeisen, and he's like, my salary is just a part of the benefits I get. Because, for example, I also get the 13th and the 14th salary before summer and before the New Year's. You get a bonus salary. And some people just wait for that point, and they just fire themselves. They resign.
Don't do that. No, do that if it's beneficial.
If you want to keep your job and you want to have a good reputation in the company, don't. But if you work like at a cafe or McDonald's where they just exploit you, exploit them back,
Exactly. Exactly, because you're not here to learn how to be a slave. You're here to learn the system and how it functions, and have fun with it and bring yourself joy. And maybe some benefit to the environment if you can.
Yeah.
If you can.
Yeah.
No need
That's
to
a good
push it
purpose,
much.
you know. And also at Mesa Prater, there is a huge glass building near VU, and there's also there's the job exhibitions.
Mm-hmm.
You told me about them, and you can apply with your CV. You can apply beforehand. You can find out about the employers before, like online, and send them your CV online, I think, as well.
Yeah.
And then just come there, like ask them, network, and also university events. Yeah, just so many opportunities.
Yeah.
Just gotta pursue them, you know. If you just sit there and just learn, they're not gonna, you know, somehow grasp you into that event. You just have to go yourself, and you have to look out yourself.
Yeah.
And in the first semester, you probably won't get hired to like a related job position if you haven't had any prior education in business economics, because that's normal. Companies are not so trustworthy with just like a first semesters. But after your second semester, yes, then you have like a valid foundation of knowledge, and then they're more happy to hire you. Yeah.
And about CVs, I wanted to like mention what I learned about making it pop, because like you can actually fit a lot of information in one page. You can do it on Adobe, you can do it on Google Docs or Word or anything you want, but it's important not to have everything in the same like text style, as in if everything is bold, nothing is going to stand out. If like everything is normal, nothing is going to stand out. So you should like also think of the aesthetics, because you know sometimes you look at CVs and it pops out like, I don't know, consulting, communications for 7 years, lead users and stuff, and other times it just blends in. And if you've done consulting projects or whatever in high school or at uni, you can put them under a separate section, because it really highlights it. Like, and at university in our projects, like the companies pay so much just to have our work, and we really put in so much effort, and we create like 70
whole semester of effort.
Documents.
Yeah. Yes, 40, like 30-page easily. We had like presentations, reports, graphics, interviews. We did so many user interviews.
Oh yeah.
And we had to document those interviews. We put in so much effort. So if you did that effort, put that on your CV.
Exactly, show it.
You did it. If you have a lot of work experience, for example, because you're a bit older, you know, like closer to mid-20s, you can put that, because if you have one page, you can put that aside. But if you're starting, you know, your first year at university, you're around 20, put it there. It's gonna be a great kind of point to put there. And also use LinkedIn. LinkedIn is an underrated platform. I have it, but it's not filled. But I want to work on it, because our professor, he was the head of marketing and sales at the Red Bull for 23 years for one of the courses. And he's like, you can send me a LinkedIn link to an invite, and he'll accept it if you're his student at VU. So, okay, I'm going to work on it. I'm going to have a nice CV there. Yeah.
Promise.
And then I'm going to send him an invite. So he's like, okay, and I'm going to have like such a cool person on connections.
But with LinkedIn, like it is actually such an underutilized platform, because, you know, people say, oh, it's just LinkedIn. It's like social media for business people, and they just do nothing with it. But there are so many jobs there. And the best thing is you can actually see who's hiring or who's in this company. And one other good thing is that if you contact these people that are from your circles, like from your university, your high school, even your hometown, I don't know, you can decide that. And if they recommend you and if you get hired, then both of you get a bonus, or they get a bonus. But there are so many benefits to your circle actually promoting you. So you should really look for these connections. I went to an Austrian business high school in Istanbul, and there we've done a project with the Austrian Chamber of Commerce, bringing 12 high fashion brands to Istanbul and creating this fashion event, and looking into how it would impact both economies and how the event was managed, etc. A lot of stuff. And I put it under this consulting projects section. And a few job interviews I've got, they like took me in just because they saw this name and they were very impressed. And they would have hired me if I wasn't too young. Because the thing is, sometimes you won't be hired not because you're not fit, but just because of the age. Because sometimes they say, like, we work with very high level clients and you're going to be the first person to communicate with them. And it's not good, but the truth is they don't feel that trusted towards someone who's very young. So that could sometimes play against you. Or your accent, like your pronunciation in speaking German. Because,
like, German is...
Exactly. And especially like Austria, Germany and these geographies, they're also very ethnocentric. in that they really appreciate work and effort that comes from these geographies, and they really value the language being spoken well in a very professional context. So sometimes some jobs will be like, if you can understand it, it's okay, because what you're gonna do is not gonna have to do with the language itself. So some jobs you can very easily get, but other jobs, if you're the first person that other businesses communicate with, you're not gonna get it if your accent and pronunciation isn't on par with other professionals. So that's also important.
That's gonna bring us to the topic of German. So when you're looking for English and German jobs, of course there's gonna be more German talking jobs, but is it possible to find like English talking jobs, positions?
Absolutely. For that, it does require, sadly, a bit more effort than just looking through jobs with the job type filter, because some job postings are in English, and if it's in English, usually then the job itself is in English too, in the company culture.
Makes sense.
But I've also seen that a lot of like media agencies, marketing agencies, digital media agencies, and some law firms, especially international ones, they're looking for part-time employees that speak English. Because the company's culture and the communication, everything is in English, and they communicate with international clients more often than the like DACH region. So it is very possible to find jobs in English, but it's not like 50% of what's offered. You have to look for it. It's there for sure. I feel like in the last few years there are more job openings in English than there were, let's say, 5 years ago. So yeah, that's good. Because people asked, so because I opened my phone because I'm a rude interviewer, I just opened all the questions, not to miss any questions you asked, because I have some from YouTube, some from Instagram. So I look like, okay, I'm on my phone, but I'm actually listening, and too much content.
So part-time, so there's opportunities. And do you need to know German, not for jobs, but just like to survive in Vienna, just in general, study, going out with friends?
Not much. Like, I always joke that despite all my efforts in learning the language, most I do is just like order something at a cafe or restaurant. And of course, like going to the Magistrat, which is like the residence permit office, there I speak in German and I feel the benefit. But other than that, you don't need a lot of German to survive. Like, you need very minimum German. And I would say just to feel good within yourself that you're in this new country, and it feels good to learn just a little bit. Enough to order a coffee, but it's not needed.
Yeah, it depends also where you study. If you're studying in German, of course you need a C1 and even higher, because even people who get a C1 on paper, it's still not enough to study, for example, Wirtschafts, the economy and social sciences bachelors at VU. They still struggle even with the C1 to study in German, because it's completely different than just knowing the grammar. You have to study and you have to listen 24/7.
You have to think in that language. And that's one of the things that like pushed me to studying in English, because although my German was at a high level,
Let's be humble.
It was C1. Like, it is good. I graduated with a 1 in my final exams, which is the best grade. But even with that, like, it's different if you're just writing something with very specific instructions, and if you're supposed to look for like interlinkings between articles, and then especially if you're studying economics, like how something is said plays a role too. So you're gonna need to really think and find connections and respond, and especially in academic documents, you cannot be saying and. You have to use like a proper language, so there it could be a bit difficult.
And also about working, my friend from Colombia, he's a very high skilled IT professional. He's getting his second master's here, and he got hired super easily to any job he wanted. And he got a full-time job actually as a software engineer or something close to that, because I'm not an IT person, so something with computers. And he told that the company, when they value you so much, they actually take care and pay for everything, for all the document settings. But the German thing is all the gossip and all the good talks happen in German in the kitchen. Coffee breaks, smoking breaks. So he is motivated to learn German because he wants to hear the good stuff, the fun stuff. Because he can work in English, he knows Spanish and English fluently. But German, he's like still learning it, but he's motivated for that reason.
That's a very good motivation, just to each their own,
Yeah. Whatever works.
But that it is a very good point that, like, especially now the IT industry is booming, and in Austria they're also looking for like workforce from abroad, and they're much more open to hiring people in the tech industry compared to other industries. Like there are so many tech companies that like a big percentage of their employees are from like Romania or from Bulgaria or just from all over the world basically. And they're introducing more remote working schemes too. So if you are in the tech industry and if you're looking for a job,
you're lucky.
You're one step ahead already.
Come here. Yeah. I have a friend from Egypt who came here and he's also a software engineer. And I was like, yeah, it's also a lot of people from India as well. They just like pull people here with the right brains, basically the right skill set they need. And also I had like a very general question, how to survive as an international student in Vienna. Would you have any comments on that?
Of course. How to survive as an international student in Vienna. Like the most important thing is to not limit yourself in your brain, because obviously like you're gonna have to go into situations to meet people and it's gonna feel very uncomfortable at first, but use the places you're in. Like if you're at uni, like put effort into making a conversation, because like most people would not just reject someone. They're expecting this person to talk to them. They're expecting this socialization. So make friends, talk to them, put effort into keeping them. And one other thing that Vienna offers is that it's so diverse in its offering, from sports to arts to music to different types of parties and raves.
Sprachcafés also, like speaking cafes where you can practice any language you want.
So like look for what the like organizations you're affiliated with have to offer. And on that point, there are a lot of international organizations you can be a part of. They're like NGOs and you volunteer there usually, but they create such a good community. Like it could be ISEC, it could be Oikos, it could be some other, like it could be Vutis.
Student unions as well. Aktion Gemeinschaft, I think it's called.
You can also be part of some parties at universities, because in Austrian universities the election process like replicates what happens on a national level. So there are parties and meetings. And on that, Vienna, if you're interested in this part of it, Vienna is also very queer friendly. So there are a lot of initiatives to protect and support LGBTQ people, and also like using the power of social media. You can find a lot of groups that are, the goal of them are just for like queer people to meet and hang out and to like just support each other.
There's also the parade as well.
Like,
huge event.
Exactly. So like the city also offers a lot in that regard. That's amazing.
Okay, that's perfect.
Recently, I wanted to say, like there are some protests happening in the country because like university budgets aren't being adjusted that well to what the universities need, and like students believe that this is a bad response because universities need money, you know? And that's why some universities like lecture halls are being occupied with like the Uni-besetzt motto, let's say. And a friend and I, we recently went to a drag show happening in one of these lecture halls, and it was like so fun and so much love in that room. Everybody supported each other. The conversations were amazing. Like networking was happening like crazy. And yeah, just an example.
Yeah, so people, it's pretty active city, I would say. It also might depend a bit on how you integrate fast or not. If you're a student and you're a young student, you're going to integrate a bit faster compared to a person in their 30s coming to work here. That's obvious because young people are so active, so networking, going out every day almost. When you get older, you're a bit chill, you know. People are a bit, they also have their friend groups as well. It's a bit harder to gain their trust and to kind of blend in the group. Because Vienna, our beautiful city, was ranked the most livable one, but also the most unfriendly city in the world. And it's not unfriendly, just people are honest and they don't trust you so
easily.
Direct. They're direct.
And if they want to express dislike.
But it's like honestly, it's not something too bad. You just have to get something, you get used to that. And usually my experience with authorities and banks, if you have your documents in a folder and you just give them to them, they're so happy because you don't cause them any other hassles or problems. And they love you so much, they smile at you. Because sometimes people shout at them and it's kind of sad, but if you're already and you're friendly and you go there, usually not too many problems there. So it depends.
And also like about the documents, one thing that I found was important was like my attitude when I was giving my documents, because on one occasion when I was doing something bureaucratic, I was just like very timid and afraid, and I was like, is everything here? And then like there were problems that shouldn't have been there. Like legally there weren't supposed to be problems, but the officer like working there wasn't kind and she was also very suspicious. The next time I had to do something, I was like, here are my documents, when will I get my answer? And it worked out perfectly. So
confidence, you know.
That confidence of like, I have everything here. It's both you and like my job to get it done perfectly.
Yeah, we all want the same thing, you know.
So confidence there is important.
Actually, I messed up once by not paying my fee because it had like 2 pages of a letter. When you pick up the residence permit, you have to pay once and also another time to pick up the card. And I didn't pay, and they let me pay like on the spot and like send them an email. And they were so friendly actually.
Yeah.
To me. And they were on my numbers. He's like, if everything goes wrong, I will call you. But if not, everything is fine. I was like, thank you so much because I was so stressed on that day. So yeah.
But they're also like one tiny point, and then I'm gonna allow you to continue this sea of content questions. But don't stress too much if you're missing some documents, because usually if you go there on time and if they see something is missing, they just tell you, okay, until this date, please send it to us via mail, and it's fine. So like if you're deciding between full documents or like being on time, be on time. Be on time.
Yeah.
Be on time.
Yeah. Okay, then we continue to the sea of questions. So the weather. It was also a question asked. Oh, windy, a bit cold in the winter.
Yeah.
In summer it's nicer.
In summer it's nicer, but there are so many mosquitoes.
Oh yeah.
And somehow I attract mosquitoes, and for me that's a very big issue. So if you've come from climates where you're not used to the mosquitoes or the like humidity, then you should be careful to have some maybe nets in your windows, because so many occasions I just woke up with bites all over my body. Yeah. But also, if you're from a bit of a warmer climate, then you can get sick much more easier. So you should slowly get used to it. But like, you know, because I come from a bit of a warmer climate, and like the humidity levels and everything and the wind, it's different. So whereas a friend of mine can just like, I don't know, go out in a shirt and be fine. If I'm out...
I remember when Andre tried to wear his slippers in the winter time.
Oh my God.
Our friend, he's from Brazil, and he was protesting the Vienna winter so much. He wore like a t-shirt and also flip-flops at some point.
Yeah.
So people try to kind of get exhausted in their own ways.
Yes.
But it's gonna be a bit windy and it's gonna be a bit rainy in the winter time. In the summer it's gonna be hot, and then I think they don't tell you is that in the dorms you have a heater, but you don't have an air conditioner.
Exactly.
So if it gets hot in the summer,
it's not the culture.
Yeah, if it gets hot in the summer, you have to buy yourself an AC or like a fan or something. Because I woke up in sweat. I put like 0 covers on me.
And this woman has found out very unorthodox methods to deal with this heat. So the shower method.
Oh, basically, if you love the climate so much, but you love yourself more, you can put your shower on cold water and let it run for like 5-10 minutes, and it's gonna solve the problem. It's gonna be a short-term solution, but if you're feeling super bad, it's a solution. The water is cleaned anyway, so it's kind of recycled, so it makes me not.
And you know, like electricity used for running the AC, it's also some energy, so don't feel too bad, just a little bad.
Just a little bad. Love it. So the network provider, the best and most affordable network provider, it would be Educom or XOXO, I would say.
It changed to that, I think.
Yeah, and it's around 9 to 10 euros per month.
Yeah.
And you get a lot of Wi-Fi, like 10 or 15 gigabytes.
Yeah. But for me, something that happened was like sometimes I don't know if I disabled the messages, but I don't get a warning if I pass my usage.
I also don't get them, I think.
So be careful about that, because some months I was like, what has happened here?
You can check it on your phone, your data usage. I check it, oops.
Yeah.
Also, transportation system, lovely.
Beautiful.
The best.
Like, one of the downsides of living in Vienna is if you go anywhere else in the world, like especially big cities, the public transport system is so insufficient. Like, not as easy, not as like easy to understand and on time, and not as diverse with the modes of transport, because there's the subway, of course, and then the Straßenbahn. Trams. Trains,
buses, anything you need. Also the Schnellbahn, the speed train that goes for some regions. Amazing. You just have to buy a semester ticket, 75 euros, I think.
Yeah, like be careful which semester ticket you're buying, because there's a specific one for students with the main residence in Vienna.
Now it's changed. Now everybody can get.
Oh, true, it changed that there was like the compensation scheme. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're a student, you get it.
Yeah, you get it. That's lovely because at first it was differentiated between if you live in Vienna or outside of Vienna.
Yeah.
And you had to pay more if you live outside because you use more. But now for students, the justice has been served and we can get all this.
Has been served.
Yeah.
And here I have to mention electric scooters.
Scooters. Limes, yeah.
I'm a veteran there. Like it's so like it's easy to ride them here because like the city is designed in a nice way, so you're not very confused. And Google Maps just shows you which route to take. And electric scooters, they have saved my life on so many occasions. Like it's so time efficient, so easy to use, and then they're everywhere. So if you're running late or if you feel bad going in the subway because of like all the air that's not there and the dust and stuff, like they're very easy to use. But in the city centers there's a speed limit, and that's why like if you go to Stephansplatz, like automatically your speed is going to be like 5 kilometers per hour. So you can see those zones on the Lime map or the provider's map, and also you cannot park in some spaces, so be careful about that. But
yeah, because every time we travel anywhere, when we went to Budapest or when I went to Italy, the transportation system, I miss it so much.
Yeah.
Because in Budapest I think you have 3 lines of metro. Yeah. And when I remember when we were late to the airport, not because of their fault, but because of our bad timing, but we had a nice time.
But yeah, still it contributed.
It contributed, yeah. Mm-hmm. And also in Italy, especially in the southern part, there is no timetable, so it's there. But do they follow it? No. Also, the night buses were a pain because here they all follow it almost to the minute.
Yeah.
And the night buses in Italy, they don't. They just come whenever they want. And we waited for like 2 hours for a night bus at like 1 a.m.
That's wow.
Yeah, so transportation system value. You have to value it so much and be so grateful for it.
You have to cherish it.
Yeah. And also there's a great question is, how does a typical day of a student who does part-time look like? Part-time job? Yeah, you have a bachelor's degree that you're studying, and you also have a part-time job.
I mean, that also depends on how many classes you have in a week, because our studies, you can individualize them so easily. That's why some friends, they loaded on classes for like a semester, and then they worked after these classes, or they worked like 2-3 days, like a few hours a day, and then the rest of the week they had for classes. But for part-time, usually, from what I've experienced, they offer you like, do you want to do like, I don't know, 8 hours a day for a few days, or do you want to do 2 hours every day? Can you come and be on site? Can you be remote? So it also depends on what they tell you, but usually I would say from what I've seen, it's flexible. And yeah,
you just got to organize yourself. Sometimes you will wake up at 8 and you have so much to do. Sometimes you can sleep until 11.
Yeah.
Sometimes it really depends on also in which stage of studies you are, because when we are finishing, we just have the thesis left, so we have no lectures.
Yes.
Yeah, and but if you're in the middle of your studies, you're gonna have much more lectures and exams. So just keep that in mind. So your university lecture should come first, the schedule, and then you can see what else you can fit in. Because for example, you might wake up, have breakfast, go to a lecture, then go to an event, then go back and you have to work or have a deadline to meet, and then you sleep and it repeats all over again. It really depends.
And also, like with one of the student jobs I've had, it was very team dependent, because sometimes organizations, they tell you, okay, you're the team to get it done, you have to decide on it. So like when you're gonna meet, it has to like match everybody's timing, and that's why sometimes it's very difficult, because like in some jobs you have a specific schedule, but in others, if you're like a marketing team or like an organizing team, then you're like, guys, can we meet at like 8 p.m. and finish at 12? And sometimes it's okay, guys, yes.
Yeah.
So with some jobs, it's also very too flexible.
Too flexible, too much. When you give too much freedom, it's scary.
Yes.
Okay, so that was the main, the importance of knowing German we discussed. It depends for what. Basic survival, you don't need it. Studies, depends where you study. Which language. Working, mostly, yes. It would be very beneficial.
Yeah.
Not essential, though.
But I would say about German, so this is a city that has a lot of history in music and art. Because of that, if you want to take part in the the art scene and music scene, a lot of the pieces that are being put on the stage, they're going to be in German, and they're going to be like small concerts and events and stuff that's also in German. So it feels better to understand and speak if you want to take like a more lively part in that scene, because so many times like there are many Instagram and like TikTok accounts that are there to just show you what's happening in the city. And in one of them they always do these like Gewinnspiel. What was that in English?
Spiel is a play.
It's a
Gewinnspiel. When basically you can earn, you can, if you tag your friend or you like it, you can win something, right?
Exactly.
I don't remember.
We talked too much about German.
I know what Gewinnspiel is in German, but
anyway, that's your first word if you don't speak German.
Yeah.
Gewinnspiel. Anyway, like, and I so many times, like 5 times I won tickets to theater plays and dance performances, but they were all in German. So, and I forgot to tell my friends that they were in German, so sometimes they were a bit confused. But yeah.
So yeah, and the last question we had, so I'm gonna put my phone away, is about food and buying food here, food discounts, how to save money. I mean, we love to go out and order maybe a bit overpriced meals, but sometimes you gotta do it.
But good, always good meals.
They're always good. We never
it's
miss.
important what you put in your body.
Yeah, your body is your temple. You are what you eat.
Yes.
So, how to save money on food? I would say just look out for discounts on Hoffer and Billa. Sometimes they cross out. If something is about to go bad, they give it to you for cheaper. Also, the TooGoodToGo app.
Yeah,
great thing.
There's this app called TooGoodToGo, and the concept is basically like you see the restaurants, cafes, markets, and providers, like food providers near you, and then like there is a time period in which you can buy things for like 1/3 of the price. And it's like, let's say it's 4 on Friday, or like this, let's say it's 4 on Saturday, and the markets haven't sold a lot, and then they put it on the app and they say in the next 2 hours you can get like a package of veggies or just general grocery store package for 1/3 of the price.
Yeah.
And it's very nice sometimes because you get a lot of stuff that's not bad necessarily, that's just like not maybe in the top form, or sometimes they just need to get rid of it because Sunday it's closing.
Yeah.
But it's very good. I use it often if I can. But one thing is that check the ratings on the places, because sometimes it's like 3.4 out of 5, and you realize that they just gave you like some milk and some chocolate that's way past its due date.
Yeah, that's not good because you can get actually poisoned. It's supposed to be almost expired, not expired.
Yeah. Sometimes they stretch that a bit. But to also save like money on food, I'd say like educate yourself. Because if you know how much you should eat in a day and like what the proportions are, as in like this much protein, this many veggies, then you can also plan it much better. So if you think, oh, I don't want to plan, then okay. But planning really does make a difference, because then you don't waste anything.
Yeah.
And you can buy frozen veggies or frozen fish and stuff.
You can freeze meat as well if you buy a lot of meat for cheaper, because it's cheaper to buy in bulk anywhere, any time. You can also freeze it and just portion it. Meal prepping is nice.
And also there's this thing called YÖ. It's like a membership program for a lot of stores.
In BIPA, for example. How's the full name of it?
YÖ, just J and
because it's like your carte, like they always say something.
YÖ Bonus Club. YÖ Karte. And like a bunch of stores are part of it, like the Billa, one of the biggest grocery store chains, and BIPA, which is like a beauty store. And with this card, like if you use it when you buy stuff, then you get like 10%, 20%, 5% or like off, and any benefit you get is nice. So you can do
for students, you get a lot of discounts. They also give you like discount stickers you can stick on food. So yeah, just look out for it, educate yourself. You're gonna get like in the first month, don't expect yourself to be the most efficient buyer because you're still new into the city, so you can like spend a bit more, sometimes it happens. For going out, you will spend approximately 10 euros per meal, I would say, a good meal.
Could be more if you want some coffee and dessert afterwards, but like 10-15.
You can get Leitungswasser.
Exactly.
It's tap water, so it comes for free, and they have no right to refuse you. It's actually by law, I think. You can never refuse the tap water. We ask for it.
Demonstrate.
And it costs €0. We had it on the receipt at €0. So if you're going to get a meal, 10 euros around that, coffee around 3 to 5 euros, depending which one you get. Tea as well, around 4 euros. Desserts around 5-6 euros. So if you want to go to a club, that's your decision, that's your financial responsibility, because an entrance to Forest Garden, a very nice club in Vienna, is like 15 euros just to enter, and the drinks are also not cheap there, but that was your decision to go there.
So for that, I like this year, like for how much, like 8 months or so, like I've experimented with like being completely sober and how I feel when I am sober, because although alcohol is of course fun and it like gives everyone a bit of a relaxation and it feels good to do it together, but still for me, like it didn't feel that good because I felt like I was losing control, which is what scientifically happens. So that's why I was thinking, okay, like I want to be completely aware of what's going on and just like lose myself in my tiredness or in the music or dance. And some of the best nights out I've had where we danced until like 6 and 7 were when I was sober. So you can also experiment with like how you feel with that, because then you actually save so much money. Imagine like 2 times a week you go out and you save, let's say, 20 euros each day, and if you do it for like 6-7 months, you do the math.
And you can invest that money into stuff.
Yeah. Or wine bottles before the club. No.
Get free wine at university events. So yeah, that would be it. So students have a lot of, I would say, fun most of the time. If you're open, people are also going to be open to you. So don't be afraid.
You were going to say stuff about like living in a VG.
Oh yeah. Okay, the last question is also a question I have. So I'm going to kind of take advantage of this interview as well. Is when you first move in, the easiest way is to go to a student dorm. You have everything furnished, all the bills for electricity and water are paid for you, Wi-Fi, everything is set up, you have some security, everything is set up for you, it's so super easy to get there. But if you want to live in a shared flat or a rented flat in Vienna, how does it go?
Well, firstly, compared to other big European cities, the like housing market prices in Vienna, especially for rentals, it's not too bad. But there are key differences between a dorm and a shared flat, because in a dorm, like you have a lot of facilities and everything is under one roof, and you could have parties there, you could meet people there, sometimes there are events there, and it's just, and you have to go to another room on another floor just to wash your clothes. And in a shared flat, in a way it feels much better because you have much more space, and like the price to Leistung, again I lost my English.
So basically how
performance. Price to performance ratio is much better. And if you like do your research well, like use the Willhaben filter as well. Willhaben, by the way, is the biggest online marketplace for anything in Austria, and I think in Germany, but in Austria for sure. And there's everything there, from like cars to like houses to mansions to like clothing and stuff.
Wow.
So you can check for apartments there, or also on some other website, which we can write below. But like you have to look at the contract, and sometimes you have to pay a lot of like provision and caution.
Yeah, like down payment, deposit. You also usually have to bring your own furniture.
Yeah, be careful about that too, because sometimes people leave their furniture, but other times they don't. But usually, like, if it says Einbauküche or something like that, it does already have a dishwasher, which is good. So, like, if you're moving to a shared flat, think about sharing the space and, like, organizing it and the hygiene between you and your flatmates, because it could be, like, massively different. And
the standards could be different for different people about cleaning.
But also, like, what's good about a shared flat is you really have a lot of space and a lot of different people. If you go for, like, I don't know, above 3 or 4 or 5. And some of the most fun parties we've had were also in the shared flats of our friends. So it feels very good that it's your place and you can invite people and you don't have to adhere to those, like, dorm conditions. But you can have very annoying neighbors, which we had it in my apartment here. And, like, one time this cranky old lady came up and said, like, are you moving the furniture? I'm going to come in. But we weren't doing anything. And then she came a few more times. And in that sense, like, the most important thing is for there to be proof that you are denying these allegations. So if somebody blames you, like, 3 times and you actually didn't do anything, write to the, like, the Hausbesorger, what is that? Management of the dorm or the building. Write to them and say, I am being harassed, like, they're saying this but it's not true. So at least if anything comes to, like, a legal process, there's going to be proof that you denied it, and that's very important. And you can also get, like, a Rechtsschutz, or like a by making monthly payments, you can also have this legal protection service that in case somebody sues you or something happens, at that point, like a lawyer is going to be appointed to you and they can help you. So,
it's perfect.
Like in that sense, really look for the information. And most of the time, the very intricate information is going to be in German. But there are great organizations helping internationals. There's also the Niva Austria, which
our friends,
our friends did. So, like, check out what organizations help you or your nationality or just foreigners in general, and ask them for information. And your university also has a lot of legal support departments, like the student union at your university. They have a bunch of different departments to help you, from legal to housing to whatever. And you can also ask your student representative or the founders institution. But basically, if you're a student, use that, and
just use everything you have. And because for example, we are filming it in a flat, Celine, where she lives with your partner. And actually, did you mention everything Ali wanted to mention?
Yes, I did.
Okay, perfect. I think the little notes about the legal.
There was one thing, like if you're working, you can also get some tax refunds.
Yeah.
That's very important, because sometimes they miscalculated and you can get like up to a few €100 back in a year or even more. So you can also check that.
Depending on the space, you basically take a percentage of your rent of the meters squared used. I also know that that you can deduct if you have like a working space. You deduct that working space as your where you live, because if you're working in IT, if you're freelancing, if you're a teacher, from computer, like online teacher, you can kind of argue that use the space for working and not for anything else. And that's why I'm deducting this, because this is my business expense. I also know that I also encountered the tax system.
Yes, the tax system, it like hits you in the face, even if you study this.
The social system is super nice. It compensates in case you get sick, in case you're not able to work anymore, but you also have to pay a price for that, just saying. And then when you're gonna look at your pay slip from the job, you have a big number, and it's not gonna be your salary, it's gonna be the taxes. Like the social security, the healthcare and everything. But it's worth it, I would say. It
is.
You see towards what you're paying, actually.
Yeah.
The free education, because education here, it's in public universities, it's almost for nothing.
Yeah.
And so.
And one more thing. So many things are coming up. Maybe we'll do like 2.0 when we finish the thesis, and when it happens. You're not getting that video. No.
That video's coming way past this.
But one thing to mention is about sports. So here the sports clubs usually have memberships that are for a year, and you cannot get out of it if you've signed the document that says that. And they're very strict with the notice period too. Like, you have to let them know 3 months in advance or so. Sometimes they even forge documents. We had that happen with us with the gym provider. Not sure if I should mention the name or not, but they basically we canceled the contract, but then they said you opened another account, you didn't cancel it, and then it took so much time and effort to contact them. But when we said, when you kind of threaten them with what you're doing is illegal, I'm going to take legal action, you need to send me the documents. If you're again confident and factual, then they send you. And they apparently created a contract out of nowhere with no signature. So
out of air, magic wand.
Magically.
Like Harry Potter magic.
But be careful about what you're signing. Know what you're signing.
You always read that.
Yeah.
Housing documents, documents.
Exactly.
Read that. It might be a bit out of German, but it's worth to read everything you're signing. And I actually have friends who always read the terms and conditions.
I do.
Yeah.
I do that. So that's where I use my German.
How to practice. How to learn German, read terms and conditions in German.
Exactly.
So that would be, I think, should we mention anything else?
I'm thinking maybe I was going to say something. So if you're an international, you have to get a Meldezettel, and you also have to register your address.
Of course.
And if you're looking for a shared flat, some of them cannot be registered. So be careful if it can be registered, because sometimes they say usually they say it in German, but they say if it can be registered or not. So be careful, before you sign anything, make sure that place can be registered as your address. So
that's super important.
Yeah.
Yeah. So living in Vienna is nice. You don't know to survive. You don't need to know German. A large proportion of the population speaks English.
Yeah.
Of all, basically people
Very
all
well,
ages.
actually.
Very well. They actually speak English very well. You know when they say, "Okay, I only speak English a little bit," and I'm just embarrassed with that they're like C1 English skills.
Yes.
So yeah, and studying here is great. Infrastructure, transportation system as well, great.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just enjoy it. There's gonna be ups and downs anytime. You're gonna maybe feel a bit homesick if you're international and it takes you quite a while to get back home, or you might encounter some problems, but it's all worth it in the end.
Yeah.
So thank you a lot for joining this video and agreeing to film it at your place. This is actually the show. So as you can see, it looks very nice. The vinyls we bought in Budapest. Yeah, they're there for display, like the most important thing.
Yes.
So yeah, and then see you in another video.
Yes.
Bye bye.
And thank you for having me here. I hope we were helpful to you. And I hope you're gonna keep giving this woman love if she gives you valuable information, because she deserves it. She does it with so much love.
Like and comment.
Yes.
Bye bye.